The Senate is set to vote today on advancing a bill that would codify same-sex and interracial marriage into law.
They're making this effort after Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas suggested that the High Court could revisit its decision on same-sex marriage. Let's bring in Jonathan Kott. He is a Democratic strategist and a former communications director for Democratic West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin. Kevin Sheridan is also joining us. He's a Republican strategist and a founding partner at Protein Public Affairs and a former RNC spokesman. Thank you, gentlemen, for waking up with us this morning. Appreciate it. So, Kevin, why do you think that we're seeing some Republicans come around on this issue?
Well, on the same-sex issue, I think Republicans want to have their own culture wars. I don't think this is the one they want to fight, though. It's a 70% issue, and in the country favorable to same-sex marriage in support of the Supreme Court's action. So I think you will probably see a number of senators, certainly the moderate ones, Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski and the like, and Mitt Romney. They probably will get 10. We'll see if there's any poison pills in the bill that could kill it. But this isn't the fight that Republicans want to have going into the next election.
And Jonathan, Democrats believe that they have the votes for this. Is this about showing that there can be bipartisanship moving forward?
I hope this is a bipartisan vote, and I hope we get well over 60 votes in the Senate. I can't believe in 2022 we're actually having to have this debate and having to have this vote. It seems ridiculous to me. It's also shameful that Republicans weren't willing to take this vote before the election, which tells you a lot about what their voters think, which is really problematic to me. I think there's a lot of room for bipartisanship in the lame duck. I hope this gets 80 or 90. I know it's not going to get that, but it really would be a good sign for our country if the Senate could stand up and say, this is ridiculous. We're standing for this. We're not going to let the Supreme Court take yet another right away.
It's a good question, Kevin. Why do you think Republicans were reluctant to take it up before the midterms?
I think there's members that didn't want to have to deal with it, but I think you will see support for it today. Like I said, if there's any poison pill amendments or poison pills inside the bill, there could be objections to it. But this is not a controversial issue, even within the Republican Party. I think Republicans are well over 50% in support of gay marriage. So this isn't the culture war they want to fight on.
Jonathan, as we mentioned, Justice Clarence Thomas suggested that the Supreme Court could revisit the decision of same-sex marriage. Could this voting reignite discussions among Democrats about changing the Supreme Court?
I don't know that it will. I think that, changing the Supreme Court was a fringe position by a few outside groups that never really took off. I think, you probably had 10 or so members of the Senate who signed on to a letter about it, but that's not how we're going to fix this problem. We're going to fix this problem by electing more Democrats and codifying these bills into law so that the Supreme Court can't take it away. It's unfortunate that we weren't able to do that with Roe, but hopefully we'll be able to do that with the vote today.
Yeah,
but I don't think you're going to see any changes to the Supreme Court.
Well, and so, Kevin, it sort of begs the question. I mean, you are talking to Republicans and also, presumably Democrats about this. It just seems strange that Justice Thomas would, out of the blue, come out and talk about this and in one of his opinions, give insight into the way he thinks about same-sex marriage. Is he alone out there on this branch when it comes to conservatives in this country now in 2022?
Well, I think if you read closely, and I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but I think what he was saying was it was on shaky constitutional ground. I don't know what his personal opinion of gay marriage is. He's in an interracial marriage, obviously, so he's for that. I think I think he was making a constitutional law argument, which is different from whether or not gay marriage should be legal or not. Now, a constitutional amendment would be the best thing for everyone if we want to really go down that road, and then we don't have to worry about what the Supreme Court says or what future Congresses do. So there could be movement towards that as well.
All right, Jonathan Kott and Kevin Sheridan, always great to have you both. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.